What's up, guys? ItsADemi, and as you can see by the fact that we have not changed clothes at all, is our second video of today. Utopia. I forgot what I was going to call this shit. Utopia, A Look into the Future, Part 2. Last time we talked about the Coliseum, a couple laws, and basically how it's going to get started, and the general layout of Utopia. So today we're going to go a little bit more in depth with the day-to-day life of the average utopian citizen. So we have a general knowledge of how people will get their jobs, and basically a aptitude test to see what they're most suited for. Now, the day-to-day life. Is there going to be a set number of hours that people work, or
it might just depend on the job. I mean, some things might
work till
go
you get
longer.
everything done you need to do for today, and then go home?
It really will all depend on what the job. Because of course there'll be school teachers, and the school hours you'll be working calls. Whatever the school hours.
So pretty much like today, just depending on what the job is and what the demand is, and how many employees they have. You might be there for 8 hours, you might be there for 5 hours, but you're getting a set number of credits every month, or credits based on how many hours you work.
You get a set amount of credits every month, maybe weekly, depending. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to have it pay out, because you have to balance that kind of stuff. But it'll be exactly the same for everybody.
It'd probably be a good idea to start it off monthly, so people get in the idea of budgeting, and then if they can make their monthly last all month, then you can bump it back down to every 2 weeks. Like, split that in half, give half of them every 2 weeks,
we'll see,
and then they can budget that out, and then basically get them used to budgeting, so they're not just blowing everything that they get the first week, or everything they get for the month in the first week. But I mean, another good idea might be to set it up as a desire basis. If someone wants a fourth of their monthly income every week, or half their monthly income every 2 weeks, or their entire monthly income all at one time, then they can get it however they want. But they'd have to go through their place of employment for that.
I will have quite a few consultants that talk about how I'm going to actually run the economic portion of it. I got the basic idea, but I'm going to need a little bit of work on that. But
just to make sure that the economy can stay. I mean, not really an economy, because there really will be no economy.
The economy will be, we have all the resources on Earth, because now we're utopian and we all work together, and everyone can have whatever the hell they need.
Right.
Basically, everyone's going to get supplied their the minimum calorie intake, their food. Everyone will get that. You're not gonna starve in Utopia. You're gonna get food. You're not gonna have to pay for it. It's just a guaranteed thing. You're gonna get to eat.
You're gonna have the bare necessities.
You're gonna get to eat. You're gonna have power. You're gonna have TV and internet, because why charge extra money for crap that who cares? It's just entertainment.
I mean, yeah, it's a luxury, but you got to do something to unwind. You can't just work, go home, and sleep.
Yeah.
You got to have some kind of unwind.
There's really no point to charge people for internet or TV unless they just really don't want internet TV, and then in which case they can just opt out of it. There's no point in charging for it, because I'm not making any money off of it because there's no money. So
off topic.
And of course, housing.
Off topic, just because I really want to know this. How would you bring your idea of utopia to the Christian population, who are so against one world government?
Yeah, no, that's really the biggest of hardest
because
thing.
They're all extremely against one world government. They're all extremely against one world currencies, because those are signs of the end times.
Yeah, every single person I tell about my idea accuses me of being the Antichrist.
I mean, they'd accept it. They'd accept it simply because they would see it as, oh, it's almost time to go home to heaven or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they'd be really against it, like the homosexual agenda, for example. Yeah. Bible specifically states that, I mean, not specifically says, hey, in the end times, gays are going to be able to marry. Now, it doesn't specifically say that, but it has a lot of the things that the Bible says is going to be coming around at the end of times has already happened, and Christians are still getting butthurt over it. So how would you bring the idea of utopia to the Christian population without them getting all butthurt and trying to kill you?
They're probably going to get butthurt, because...
But I mean, if they don't like it, they can just go to Greenland.
Yeah, wherever we end up sending them. But I plan on making it illegal to have your own separate church. I'm going to put up several different places where anyone can worship whatever they want to worship and just go in and worship instead of having people preaching whatever their ideals are to you, because really sit down, read the book that you want to worship and learn it yourself, because everybody interprets it differently.
Yeah.
And everybody, if you go to a church,
you can't be.
They're going to tell you everything that they think it means. If you go to another church, they'll tell you the same verse means something different. So you'll have to learn it yourself instead of.
Which is how religion should be, and how religion was designed to work in the first place.
Yeah,
Religion in general, and I'm not going to get too deep in this topic because it's not really utopia oriented as I want these videos to be. But all religions are created to be a path to be walked, not something to be explained as you see it to someone else. I mean, sure, everyone's got their opinions, and sometimes debate is healthy, but when it starts to get to a point where, well, you're wrong, I'm right, go fuck yourself. When it starts getting to a point like that, you just gotta go with what I've always said. Religion is a lot like penis. It's a perfectly fine one. It's perfectly fine to have one and to take pride in it. But when you pull it out and start waving it in my face, I'm gonna get pissed.
Yeah.
So anyway, off religion, you're gonna have various different religious sanctuaries where anyone can go and worship whatever the fuck they want to worship.
Yeah, you just go in and it'll be a.
And I mean, gas prices are going to be fairly cheap because it's on a credit system. If there are even gas prices,
there won't even be gas.
But I mean, eventually you're going to use all those resources for oil and whatnot on the earth. So eventually you're going to have to start charging at least credits for it.
I'm not going to be using oil or gas at all because I plan on getting rid of that. Hey, we could already stop using gas if it wasn't for the gas companies just sit there and say, if you do that, then we'll all go out of business. Well, that's too fucking bad. You're destroying our planet.
I mean, we got
so you can make
now.
money.
We've got full electric cars now that run 200 plus miles on a charge. Most cars nowadays go maybe 150 miles on a gas tank. On a tank.
We've already for quite a while now.
Gas is already obsolete. It's just
obsolete.
They're charging way too much for the electric cars for anyone to be able to afford it. Because big gas companies want their money.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I want to get rid of money altogether, because everyone's screwing everyone over to get more and more money, and they're screwing future generations so they can be happy now. Yeah. And then later, everyone else is screwed.
Rather than taking care of the earth, they're taking care of themselves and their small, infinitesimally small portion of their universe.
Yeah.
So they can be comfortable for the 50 years they're alive, 40 years they're alive if they're spending a lot of money on useless junk food. Yeah. I mean, let's face it, nowadays, life expectancy isn't even 70 years like it used to be. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are living to 80 and 90 years, but nowadays, life expectancy is much, much less than it was even 45 years ago, simply because people love things and use people.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the day-to-day life of the citizen. Everyone will have their own religious place to worship. Everyone will have their ideal job. It might not be their dream job.
Just on that topic, you will eventually be allowed to do whatever the hell you want to do for your job after 10, 20 years, whatever I make the retirement. And then you can go off and do whatever you want.
Of course, with 5 times gravity training, people are going to be 5 times healthier, be able to live 5 times longer, so 10 years really isn't that long. I mean, it sounds like a long time to put into one place. I worked for Pizza Hut for 3 years, and it felt like I was never getting out of that bitch. But I mean, at the same time, the time flew by. So while you're working, the time will fly by, and when you've got so much extra life expectancy, it's not going to be that bad to work at one place for 10 years.
Yeah,
and you're providing a huge community service, so you're going to get compensation. And once you move on to your dream job, you're still going to get the compensation. It's going to be so much easier now than it is nowadays to get your dream job.
Yeah, pretty much you're guaranteed to get it as long as you don't do something stupid and die or get banished. Once you make it through whatever job you were assigned to, because
free education too. So I mean, you'll
free education, free healthcare, free food, free electricity.
If your dream job is automotive, but you know nothing about automotive, and you've been working in let's say you've been a school teacher all your life teaching history, but you know nothing about automotives, you will have the opportunity after your tenure as a teacher.
Well, you can learn at any time.
Right.
Each Citadel will have a massive library. And in that massive library, you'll have actual physical tomes, but you'll also have digital. Every single piece of information will be digitized and put into a library.
Honestly, I don't recommend a whole lot of digital stuff, simply because we are very close to another coronal mass ejection from the sun that could potentially wipe out all electronics on Earth, and then we'd be thrown into chaos.
Well, that's why there's tone backups.
Right.
Everything's, but you want the digital because it'll make it faster and easier for. And if possible, you can download it straight into your brain, which we are getting close to that technology. And with me heading Utopia and taking all of the resources and putting it where it needs to be instead of just spreading out in stupid shit like brands.
Like cancer research, instead of putting out the one thing that is known to cure cancer as legal. But I'm not. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to specifically say it because I don't want drugs or drug paraphernalia or weed in my videos.
I hope that wasn't on the video, but the video just like flipped shit a minute. It flipped shit.
Ow.
It like.
That's weird.
Went all jerky and shit.
Anyway,
I hope that's not on the actual video.
So the day-to-day life.
Alright. Day-to-day life. If you're a member of Utopia, here's how your life, your day might go. You might wake up, smoke you a joint, snort a little line of cocaine. Cause that's just gonna be legal. And now, of course, you're gonna have your cocaine's gonna be mixed with a few things to keep it from affecting your heart too much, and everything's gonna be regulated. You're not gonna
Cocaine
have
with aspirin.
There's nitrates, I think you need to put.
Nitroglycerin.
Yeah, nitroglycerin, that's what it is. You need to put nitroglycerin into the cocaine so it doesn't hurt your heart. But,
trace amounts, so that way it won't affect you.
Yeah.
Because nitroglycerin can be very dangerous.
Of course, you're not going to require to do cocaine. I'm not telling everybody in the world you have to do cocaine, but you can. You can get up and do cocaine, do your little workout, eat your breakfast that your smart house recommended for you. You pick what you want, and then they give you. There'll be a person somewhere in the Citadel, actually a whole bunch of people, really top chefs, cooking with the best, freshest ingredients, and sending it to you with the exact amount of calories that you need, because that's exactly how much you use every day. And then you'll go and do your job for however many hours your job needs you to, and then come home and do whatever the hell you want and go wherever you want. And there'll be tons. Alright, the Citadel will have different layers, and you'll have one level of the Citadel will be nothing but entertainment. It'll just be like like in Japan you have these giant, massive arcades. You'll have that. The entire level will have every video game ever fucking imagined. Anything that you could think of that could be fun to do will be in this level, and then that's the entertainment district. And then another level of the Citadel will be where we grow food for the Citadel, and of course we'll be bringing some in from way out, but that'll be for the close.
So let's talk about the calorie intake. Let's say 350-pound man, 5'9", so he's extremely overweight. How would his calorie intake be affected? Because you're getting only what you need for the day, but obviously bigger people need more calories.
Well, if you're huge and fat, it'll probably be at the very beginning of Utopia, because after that, the next few generations won't be like that. They won't even have the opportunity. Well, they will if they spend their luxury credits on food.
Right.
But if you're a big, extra large guy and you use however many calories that day, that's exactly how many you get.
Let's say the base calorie diet is about 2,500 calories per day. Let's say you've got someone who normally intakes about 4,000 calories a day. How would that be affected? They're used to intaking 4,000 calories a day.
They can still intake that much, but they'll have to pay their own credits to get more food, because they're going to get cut down to what they need, not what they want. They're overeating, obviously, and that's why they're so huge, and they're not working as hard as they should be. So they'll have a job, and they'll be getting their minimum calorie, just what they need to do their job and live, and their body will provide the rest off of all that fat that they got.
Right. So basically, your idea is to take that 4,000 calorie per day guy, bring him down to say 3,000 calories a day, still 500 above the bare minimum, but that way he doesn't starve to death or whatever, but the rest will be supplied off itself. He'll eventually be fit. But of course, after 5 times gravity training that everyone will have access to, a lot of the people who are overweight won't be anymore.
Yeah.
Because, you take 300 pounds, multiply that by 5, that's how heavy you're going to be in 5 times gravity.
Of course, you don't go straight up to 5 when you start, but
even at 2 times, you got to start at least at 2.
Yeah,
maybe 1.5.
1.5 if you're really weak and you just don't want to.
If you start off at 2 and you weigh 350 pounds, you are 700 pounds in that gravity place.
And you'll be feeling it, and you'll realize how fat you are.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, shit.
Either that will be motivation to get you to work it off, or just doing the gravity training will work it off for you. Just doing your day-to-day shit, living in 2 times gravity.
Now, of course, you don't have to do gravity training. You just have the option if you want. And of course, after seeing what I can do with 100 times, you probably want to. You'll probably be like, I want to do that.
Let's go over the gravity training, because this has been kind of interesting. I've been thinking about this a bit, and I have a few ideas to bounce off you. The gravity training dojos, are they going to be like single to 3 or 4 people dojos?
Alright, each individual house will have its own small little gym that will be a gravity dojo for a single person. And then there will be a larger one in the Citadel where anybody and everybody can go with this higher
go and just spar with each other or practice or whatever they want to do.
And that will be for the people who really, really want to be the most fit physical specimen, might end up being part of the military police force or part of my acolytes. And maybe.
And now the Citadel's training, will that start off at like 3 or 4? Start off at 5 at the cap where everyone should be at, and if they choose to extend past that, they have to go to the Citadel to train? Because the houses, you're going to have to install features that only allow it to go up to 5. Otherwise, anyone could be sneaking it's going to be monitored, of course, but anyone could be sneaking the 6 times, 7 times gravity training.
They'll probably be weaker versions of the actual gravity dojo. That way they can't even put out more than 5.
Right. Of course, with the power supply that would be supplied to these houses, you wouldn't be able to power a generator to take more than 5, really.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my idea for the gravity training would be to have the houses designed so that they can increase in gravity inside the house. So they can go about their day-to-day life, eat, drink, watch TV under 2-3 times gravity to get used to it faster.
In my actual dojo, in the dojo that I'll be using, there'll be an area that'll just be all about gravity, but there'll also be a small area where I sleep and live and stuff, and it will still have its own gravity chamber, so I can go down a little bit, but not way too fast, so that I don't get the bends and whatever.
So you don't get, basically a decompression chamber.
Yeah.
So you don't get the bends, or so that your body can get used to the higher gravity. Because when you work out all day in 5 times gravity, if you go straight back to 1 times gravity, you're going to be feeling it. But at the same time, if you go back to 1 times gravity, even slowly, so you don't get the bends, but you just exist in 1 times gravity, and you don't go back to the 5 times.
You'll have to keep building. You'll have to keep building it back up, which isn't what I want to be doing. So you'll be.
So even if you dial it back down to 4, 5 will still be pretty much nothing. Even if you master it and dial back down to 4 for your day-to-day living, you can still go back to 5 without much problem.
But since most people will be doing just regular jobs and they won't be trying to get past 5, once you get up to 5, you just go in there and keep fit every day, and your house might go up to 2.
Right.
Just to keep you, so while you're wandering around, you're not...
Basically, once the gym recognizes that you've mastered a certain level, the house will accommodate for that.
Yeah. But of course, when you leave your house, your house will be, you'll have a few minutes before you leave, and your house will just lower you back down to normal gravity, because the entire Citadel is not going to be on gravity just for you, because everybody's at different levels. So you'll be walking around at normal Earth gravity after having exercised for the last few months at 5 times. So you'll be fit, you'll be strong and faster than everybody else.
Yeah. And then that 300-pound cabinet will feel like nothing.
Yeah.
You just lift that bitch up, carry it over, stack it.
Hell yeah.
What's our time looking like?
19.
19?
Ooh.
Holy shit, we bullshit a lot in this video.
Went a little over.
Well, that's the basic idea of day-to-day life. That's all the time we got for today, and I don't think we're going to be able to hit another video today. Some people got some places.
One quick thing, I want people to imagine life in Utopia like living in your own anime. Because you're going to be allowed to carry weapons. You won't be allowed to carry automatic weapons because they'll all be banned. Because you don't need that. Especially if you're at gravity training, you're much, much stronger. If it takes skill to use, you're allowed to carry it. You're allowed to duel in anywhere you want in Utopia as long as you're not in a work area or you're endangering people. So if you're out in an open space, you can just have a friendly duel as long as it's not a duel to the death.
You can duel in the middle of the street as long as it's not a duel to the death. But there has to be some kind of notification so that people will be far enough back that no one's going to get hurt. Well, especially if you're dueling with guns.
It's going to be on you. Well, guns are not allowed to duel outside of the Coliseum. If you want to duel with guns, because it's a duel to the death automatically if you're using guns,
right,
you have to be in the Coliseum. For any other melee type duel, you can do it anywhere you want, and the safety of other people will be on you. You have to use your own intelligence. If you're going to just start a duel in the middle of a crowded street and you hurt somebody, you're getting punished for that because you're stupid.
Right.
You go somewhere where there's room and you do your nice friendly duel, and then when you're through,
you didn't break the law by dueling in public. You broke the law by hurting someone in the duel. Yeah. That was not part of the duel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, that's all the time we got for today, guys. As always, keep watching for more updates on Utopia. Eventually, once this fucker actually gets started with Utopia, he'll have an entire YouTube channel constantly live streaming what he's doing as he takes over the world and turns it into Utopia. But for now, that's all we got for today. We don't have time for another video today, but I will be uploading these two at separate times. So, yeah, that's about it. As always, laughter does good like a medicine, so keep watching, keep laughing, and keep living.
420 blaze it and enjoy Utopia.